Carver. The same guy that started off the night is going in, and Mike Richards. Come on up here.
This seems oddly familiar. Yeah, so one of the weird things about this particular epic poem is that I have absolutely no idea what it's about. Other protagonists keep appearing of their own accord, and I'm not really sure where they're coming from. So this is an introduction to one of those other protagonists. Rain beat windows, shook trees, rippled water. The lake was troubled. He sat and worked and waited for his inner eyes to open. But as they did so often when he called, the words refused his invitation. The poet listened to the water, let it punctuate the sour silence of his bitter mood. It mocked him. Each drop was but a finger, each patch of ground a key, each tap, each knock, each clack they made was a letter he could not. The passion of his craft had trapped and doomed him to this life, bound in typewriter ribbon, drowned in ink. He gazed around his space, desperate from some spark from without to replace those from within who had, for only reasons they could know, deserted him. The wood in the walls was warm, not from the fire that crackled joyously indifferent to the beat of water, but from color. The room pulsed warm and safe from every surface. Warm and safe. In some dark corner where his mind kept shards of old photos from some previous life, he wondered if perhaps safety was the source of his trouble. Safe to his life, destructive to his art. Could it survive beneath such an alien sky, enveloped in air it could not choke down for fear of pain? Fear and pain. He knew these things. They were his playthings. The strings through which he spun his webs that clung to the corners of far darker foundations, so that those who did not know of these things could remark from afar of their stark, sad beauty, from their place of safety, a place of lethal safety. This was why his words withered and rotted on the vine, falling to earth to melt and start anew with high hopes for their future. When had it deserted him? He had left the key to all that he had built somewhere on his path, until the dust had settled and buried it under a blanket of forget. The colors he had seen had receded into a background of shape that held no form and light that shone with no depth. Why had these things happened to his craft, his passion? The heavens chose then to part and carry his answer, the dutiful messenger, but not as lightning in the storm, which kept at bay for him and only him. Lightning is violent. It pushes air beyond the break and snaps it as a twig upon the knee, and the world hears it snap. The message was soft and drifting, knowing not where it would go. The air fell beneath the spell of beauty and graciously gave way to the notes. The notes of simple tunes that words do not dare describe, for they know it is of something better, something beyond. The poet felt them impact immaterial, yet with the force of boulders, yet not cold or hard. They were forgiving, and he remembered how such a form of grace and light and peace could take shape in a world so cold, so harsh, so wrong. It was a wrong that he had reveled in. The notes themselves knew as much as they could know. They did not matter. They were merely messengers for something even grander, and were content. The voice came quiet from the kitchen, which now seemed so distant and yet so impossibly near. Her voice. And he needed pain no longer. The darkness took back the fuel for the worlds it had provided for the worlds he had ruled. It was not a choice he made by thought, a plan he had foreseen. He had always done what was needed with no regard for useless prayers for what was not. For her, there but for the grace of her, he would lay his art to rest, and she would never know. Thank you.